Okay.
I mean, a little.
Okay. Okay.
I don't care.
I said okay. I keep saying
I'm not
okay.
fighting.
I keep saying okay, and you keep coming at me.
I am not coming at you.
You are coming at me. I feel attacked in
No.
the workplace. If you had done training, you know not to bully me.
Stop calling me out.
I showed up, and my name wasn't on the list, and
Did you sign in as Jessica Benson?
no, and the lady was, no, I needed that.
That
I
would've
needed
been
them
nice.
to see me.
They never answered my email.
Because the answer is no. You're going to have to go to the makeup class.
I don't think there is a makeup
There
class.
is a makeup class. There has to be for some of the TV dudes who were out of town.
Of all the Grind City Media employees, I think I need
The most?
sensitivity training the least.
The most?
No, I think the least.
What was this weekend?
I have to deal
in
with you
theaters?
all.
What was the weekend in theaters again?
Gladict, baby.
Okay. All right.
I still haven't seen Gladiator 2, and I feel
Have
behind.
you seen comments about it? Have your
Yeah.
friends seen it? Did they
Yeah.
like it?
They liked
Demand me.
The Thirst.
No.
I've heard the movie kind of stinks.
Okay. But that's...
Yeah. I've
look,
actually heard don't rewatch Gladiator 1 because it will just remind you how good Gladiator 1 was and will set you up for unrealistic expectations of Gladiator 2.
sometimes we make these movies for the thirst, right?
It's true. But I heard that
Magic Mike.
Paul Mescal deserves better. Like, I heard that he gets pretty upstaged by Denzel Washington, which is fair because it's Denzel, but it's character. Like, his character wasn't given the room to shine.
What are some other good thirsty movies? 50 Shades of Grey. I'm thinking of recent ones.
Did you say Magic Mike?
I did say Magic
That's
Mike.
what I thought came out first.
Yeah, Magic Mike. 50
wanted to
Shades of Grey.
reiterate.
Good thirst trap movies.
I would call Top Gun Maverick a thirst trap
You think Top
movie.
Gun is a thirst trap movie? Maverick.
I think
okay.
Top Gun's a thirst trap movie.
All right, there's a lot of
I
sexy
think
men
Creed
flying
is a
by.
thirst trap
Creed.
movie.
Creed is a good one. Creed is absolutely a thirst. It's a good movie from what I hear. Hadn't seen it, but it's absolutely Michael B. Jordan running around shirtless. Jonathan Majors. Well, that's Creed too. A song. What song was it?
Another thirst trap movie, High School Musical 2. Gotta Go My Own Way. Yeah, Zac Efron running around that
Diddy.
golf course.
Hard no Diddy. Whoa. Whoa, Jessica, you're a grown-ass woman.
They were all grown-ass high
You can't be
schoolers in
thirsting
that
over
movie.
the grown-ass high schoolers.
Get over it. Zac Efron, Troy Bolton forever. T is for Troy. What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday, November 26th. It is going to be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, the Grizzlies are streaking with a third straight win as they took down the Portland Trailblazers last night. John Morant made a flashy return. Jaren Jackson Jr. continues to dominate. We'll get into all of that. Mike Wallace will join us to continue the Grizzlies conversation. And the Memphis Tigers with what some are calling the biggest win of Penny Hardaway's career at Memphis as they took down the back-to-back national champions in Maui yesterday. Will Coleman will join to talk about the Tigers, to talk about how big mad Dan Hurley was following that game. And then we'll do a little TV Tuesday, Theater Thursday mashup, what we're watching. I'll give my full Wicked movie review. And we had a gender reveal on Monday Night Football last night. We'll get into all of it. We're making our way through Thanksgiving week. It's feast week. You know what we say. Gobble, 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 gobble.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Now every time you go to Miami, you can go see, that's a statue of me there.
No, I don't look nothing like that thing, man. Look,
I would have been offended.
That is UTA.
Oh, my God.
Oh, look.
Hey, y'all got to get that screenshot, man. Put that on the...
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
It's the top 5 worst teams in the NFL. I think the Panthers are the worst team in the NFL.
I got the Saints #1. Ha! Let's put the Aints up there. They're terrible.
I'll take the Titans as my worst team in the NFL. If they played Will Levis, they're for sure the worst team. Maybe in NFL history. Might be worse than the 0-16 Lions if they play Will Levis.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Who will lead the Grizz in steals this season?
I'm going to go with Pippen for steals this season.
So I'm going to go with Jaren.
I'm going to go, as long as he's in the rotation, I'm going to go Jake LaRavia for total steals, and I'll have Marcus Smart in my back pocket for steals per game.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling, have it my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday as we make it through Feast Week. Love starting a week with a Grizzlies win and a Tigers win. That is a good Monday in Memphis. We will get into the Tigers in the second half of today's show as Memphis ended UConn's 17-game winning streak, handed them their first loss since February 20th. Tyrese Hunter, PJ Haggerty made Dan Hurley a very, very, very mad head coach. Psycho.
They didn't make him that way.
The referees.
No, Dan Hurley.
The effing officials.
That game tipped off. The score was like 5-3, and Dan Hurley was livid. Also, thank you for the bracelets, Avery.
Thank you, Avery.
We appreciate it.
Avery's the best. She's making Grizzlies friendship bracelets, and we're super amped to have them.
But yeah, Dan Hurley was just on one.
He rolls out of bed, and he's on one.
Yeah.
Let's be perfectly clear. But
I hear he's the only person in the world who wakes his alarm clock up.
Ooh,
like
tough scene for the alarm clock.
And screams at his alarm clock. Why aren't you doing your damn job?
I know an alarm clock hates to see Dan Hurley coming.
Hates
to see Dan Hurley coming. Will Coleman is going to join us around the 40-minute mark, so we'll get into all things Tigers with him. But I have 90% of a voice back, and I think that means that we can return to our regularly scheduled programming following a Grizzlies win. So, Grizzlies Trailblazers at FedEx Forum last night. I'm going to need us all to hold space for these highlights. Ja Morant making his return. No delusions of grandeur. Hang time and one early on. Many days we have waited for a gift like this to reappear because there is no show like the Ja Show. Peep Jaren Jackson Jr. dancing through life in the corner. Grizz shot 60% from the field in the first quarter, led by 12, which was also the grade that Ja gave for this dunk. 12 out of 10, defying gravity. Everyone deserves a chance to fly, but only Ja can do it. Saw the cinematic shot of this dunk, and I don't know, something has changed within me. Something is not the same. Later on in the second quarter, It would look like he was going to do it again, but he's like, it's a no-look assist from me to be who you'll be, Brandon Clark. The final minute of the first half. Wonders like I've never seen. Trailing behind the back pass to Jake LaRavia for the finish. Put the Grizzlies back up 8, 12 seconds left, and goodness knows the extra passes were crispy at the Forum last night. Bane back to Ja, hits his second three. 20 points and 7 assists in the first half for Ja's return. Oh, and this three-quarter court shot that did not count, but it was simply disgusticified in the best of ways. The Grizzlies would lead by 11 at half. Jaren Jackson Jr., we see you for who you really are, a guy on whom this team can rely. Night after night, started heating up in the second half. The 3 for Trip, and then la 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 lob from Ja to Jaren. Together, they're unlimited. Gigi Jackson's face says it all. OMG. Nothing matters, and knowing nothing matters except another dominant night for Jackson with 21.6 rebounds, 3 blocks, the spin and the slam. Grizz win 123-98. And how about this for a stat, CJ? The Grizzlies have not trailed in a game since the first quarter against the Sixers last Wednesday. 11 straight quarters of leading Memphis Grizzlies basketball. And if you thought I wasn't going to do Wicked-themed highlights, you were sadly mistaken.
Did you feel good about yourself doing those?
Especially on the lob. When that came to me in a dream, I was very thrilled. Also, I should clarify, Wicked Act 1 songs, because I'm only doing the movie, so that when the second part of the movie comes out next year, I can do Wicked Part 2 themed highlights.
We should have done a Wicked reference counter on the highlights next year.
Only the real ones. All next 8 year. Of you got all of them.
Next year.
I mean, Defying Gravity was so easy on the job. Well, I think even the NBA account used Defying Gravity.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So hot right now.
Until I saw it at the Orpheum, I wouldn't have gotten Defying Gravity. You would have
just been like, oh, yes, he's Defying Gravity.
He's just up there. Well, I wouldn't have made that noise.
I was sad that I still have some laryngitis trickling into my voice because I couldn't hit him with the
Maybe next
cracks.
year.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
You hit them with the. Did they do that song in the movie?
Yes.
We didn't know where they were cutting it at.
They cut it at the end of the first act.
Okay.
It makes sense because you can't just, what do you do after that song? You can't just move on to the next.
Why not?
You need a year of breathing room.
Oh,
That's what they
okay.
decided. That's exactly what they decided. But
we'll talk about it more.
We'll talk about it more.
Okay.
I could talk about it all day.
I know you can.
All week, all month, all year.
Jessica, I'm
The
aware.
Grizzlies have won 3 in a row. We're going streaking. It started last night, beat the Portland Trailblazers. I think once upon a time I said, if only the Grizzlies could only play the Washington Wizards and the Portland Trailblazers, they might be the best team in the NBA. Matchup-wise, there is something that works very well. Even this Portland Trailblazers team, they were down some bodies last night. Donovan
Matchup-wise?
I know.
Okay.
It sounds stupid to say.
Yeah, they're just bad.
But
and they're bad, and they're down
You should
Clingan,
beat bad teams. They were down
Aiden,
Clingan.
and Scoot.
Yeah.
Bremen pointed out on the broadcast, this team is built for Scoot to facilitate, so they've got a bunch of scorers out there.
And when they don't have that.
And when they don't have a facilitator, they're already bad. When they don't have a facilitator, it's worse. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
But I was going to say, by no means was last night a perfect game, but I did think it was indicative of just the dynamic of having Ja Morant with a basketball in his hands on the court at FedEx Forum, because the energy was unbelievable. That first half for Ja was an instant reminder that he is the greatest show in the NBA. I'm not saying he's the best player in the NBA. I'm not saying he's the most impactful player in the NBA. You can go debate your fridge on that this morning. But I truly think that he is the best show in the NBA. And I had a couple people say, well, Kyrie Irving still exists. Well, Steph Curry still exists. Okay, well, go sit and watch Ja Morant play basketball for the half that he played last night. Because between the dunk, which he said that's the only one we're getting this year, and that would be a travesty, but it'd be good for his body. So I sit in a frustratedly understanding place of that and appreciate Ja trying to take care of himself. We saw him have to leave the game yesterday, bang knees, looked like he was in some pain on the bench, did end up coming back, and was obviously way flashier in the first half. I think he had 20 of his 22 in the first half last night and 7 of his 10 assists. But just the thrill of not knowing what's coming next, and when it starts to surge, when it goes from the dunk to the no-look pass to Brandon, and then that last minute of the first half with the trailing pass to Jake LaRavia with the three. There was a block on one end, and then he hits that three-quarter court shot, which I think if you make a three-quarter court shot, it should count no matter what. I understand time is real, and we have to value time. Science is real, math is real, time is real, but like, come on. It was this close to actually counting. And it was just, I mean, the place erupted. Like, it was just one of those very special nights. My in-laws are in town, Chris's mom and his stepdad, Dina and Billy, and they were at their first Grizzlies game last night. And I was like, do you understand what you just got to witness? Like, you saw the first jaw dunk of that nature of the year, and you saw what people, like, hope and dream that they will experience when they come into FedEx Forum. And more often than not, you do get it when Jaw's playing. And I thought it was great.
They were so happy also. That was something that kind of struck me. So on the shot that didn't count because it shouldn't count because time expired and we got rules for a reason and time is up there for a reason. It doesn't matter if you made a really cool play. If the buzzer goes off, it shouldn't count, Jessica. But job posing.
Mr. Rule follower.
You know I follow the rules. Never mind the waist down component. Job posing, Jaren going crazy, Marcus Smart, who came off the bench yesterday so that they could start, what's my man's name, rookie?
Jalen Wells.
Start Wells. Had the biggest Cheshire Cat grin on his face after that play. Like, it's the way that he plays is infectious. He's diving on the floor for balls. He's out there getting deflections, not on passes, but on ball handlers. Out there pressuring the ball. The team feeds off of that. So seeing Ja go through the lane and dunk the ball like that, the team gets up for it. Seeing Ja make the block, get the lob to Jaren, even make a shot that doesn't count, the team feeds off of that energy. And the fans feed off of it. Not just Grizzlies fans, but NBA fans. That's why he's one of the most electrifying players we have in the NBA today. Because there's something about his game that just brings a smile to your face. I will say, I'm yelling at my TV. Scottie Pippen Jr. is on the break, right? It's Scottie Pippen Jr. on the break. Marcus Smart is in front of him, I do believe, on that Ja dunk. Like, yo, give it up. Give it up. And then Ja comes through. It's like, oh, okay, never mind. Ignore me. And I've noticed that happen once, maybe twice a game, where Ja is telling a teammate, hey, don't make the right basketball play. I'm coming. Let me be spectacular, right? Just hold on to the ball, an extra dribble, and then throw it up to me so I can get this lob and catch this body, or drop it off to me the way Scottie Pippen Jr. did so I can go up there and fly through the sky. Let me give the people what they want. Just one beat, just one more dribble. And Scottie Pippen last night did that, and Ja Morant had one of the best dunks of the year last night.
Well, and speaking of just one more beat, like, the ball movement for this team continues to be a staple of the success of their offense. Obviously playing up-tempo and making those extra passes. 35 assists last night, coming off of their game against the Bulls where they had 38 assists. And getting Ja back into the mix, he has 11 of them. But you look up and down, I mean, Jake LaRavia, playmaker Jake, back at it again, had 5 assists. Marcus Smart with 4, Scottie Pippen Jr. with 4, Luke Kennard with 3, Desmond Bane with 2. Like, even Jaren had an assist. I think it set up someone's 3, maybe a Luke 3 there in the second half. But the ball is moving, and that does still contribute to a fair number of turnovers.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it
does. No, it doesn't. Some of those turnovers, they're just bad. They're just atrocious.
Feels like
that's not the turnovers that they're having. The ball is moving. It's just boneheaded plays, right? Like Marcus Smart.
It's almost like you're playing so fast though that it causes lapses. I'm trying to figure it out because again they had 19 turnovers, which is okay against the Trailblazers. But if you're playing a better team, you can't continue to turn the ball over at the rate that
Marcus Smart had that turnover to Jaren where he's not even looking. That's the problem.
Yeah.
There's a touch too much of the people are on the roof over there. Let me make this on the box office roof. You got to look over and down.
I know you were saying the Grizzlies were playing like, I'm distracted. There's somebody on the roof over there.
That it's too much of a tad too much of the hey, let me be flashy for just 1 second type of thing, right? Smart has that problem. Santi does that a handful of times, right? Like there are players out there who instead of just making these simple passes are like, let me go full magic, no look behind the back. Ja Morant
can do it.
Ja Morant did it successfully last night to Brandon Clark. I would like for him to stop as well.
Did
right?
you
Until
see
you get the turnovers under control, stop.
it was Denny Avita on that jaw pass to Brandon Clark. He does a full 360. He gets so lost in the sauce. He's like, where? There you go. Brandon Clark lays it in. Grizzlies went 11 deep in the first quarter last night. CJ, everyone's making the Wally Pip references these days, which fun behind the scenes. Every single time I miss a show and CJ has to do more work, my dad tells CJ that he's going to Wally Pip me and take over. But now everyone's making the Wally Pip references. One, because like you said, Jalen Wells kept his spot in the starting lineup yesterday. Marcus Smart was asked about it in shoot-around earlier in the day. And so it seemed in his answer, and then obviously he does come off the bench last night for the Grizzlies, that there could be an understanding that this is the future for him. But still, Jalen Wells starts, only plays 16 minutes. Scottie Pippen Jr. coming off of a 30-point night, off the night of his career in Chicago, plays 14 minutes off the bench and has just 3 points. But that's going to be kind of the erratic nature of the rotation, because as this team gets healthier, they have the depth. And Taylor Jenkins was non-committal on wanting to continue rolling with 11 moving forward, said it's less about the number, more about, what's happening from game to game. But we did see that last night. I mean, when you look up and down the bench, no one played more than 28 minutes, and a part of that is because they were in control of this game. Even though the Trailblazers regularly got it back within single digits in the first half and early in the third quarter, but then I think they expanded the lead to 17 in the third quarter. It never felt like Portland had a real chance, and so that 28-minute mark is indicative of the matchup last night. But Jaren plays 28, Brandon Clark plays 25, and then John Morant 23, Desmond Bane 24, and Desmond Bane had a tough night last night, 8 points, 2 of 8 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3. I will say, I'm putting a pin in the Desmond Bane for All-Star campaign.
Oh, nobody asked you to start that campaign.
I'm moving my pin to Jaren Jackson Jr.
Okay.
But that's an obvious. Jaren's been so good.
He has.
And the second, on both ends. And how he is utilized on the defensive end and then still managing to have the offensive output that we have seen. Over the last 10 games, he's averaging 24.8 points on 51% shooting. 6 rebounds, 2 blocks, and a steal. And he is everywhere. And he has been such a massive reason of why, even through the period without John Morant, that this team has stayed above float and is at a point where they are 11-7 on the year, which as of this morning would be 5th in the Western Conference.
Where would it be in the East?
Thanks for asking, CJ. I would love to tell you where it would be in the East. 11-7 would be good for 4th.
Okay.
In the East.
All right.
I would take over the New York Knicks position, who scored 145 points last night over the
Malone
Denver
was
Nuggets.
not happy.
He was hot.
Livid.
OG Anunoby went off. 40 points for the Knicks. He was 5 of 7 from 3, 16 of 23 from the field. We will take a quick break. Mike Wallace is going to join us on... No. Where's Mike?
On vacation.
On vacation?
On vacation.
We have vacation.
My
All right.
fault.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about the Memphis Grizzlies win last night. I do want to shout out Santi Aldama. Santi Aldama, who had a career high last night. We'll get into that along with some of the other big storylines from the NBA. And, of course, the Memphis Tigers going to Maui. And they knew they could win. They believed. And they got the big win. The biggest story in college basketball yesterday as Penny Hardaway's Tigers knock off the UConn Huskies at the Maui Invitational. Will Coleman will join us a little later in the show to continue that conversation. We'll be right back.
Goldberg announces he's going to have a retirement match in 2025, and he said this on College Game Day.
We know you're trying to ride the coattails because the 2025 is supposed to be the year of John Cena. Goldberg, I have a message for you, my guy. We don't care about your retirement match. Your retirement match was 3 years ago. Go somewhere, go away.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel. Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
I can't tell you how many people texted me and thought it was the funniest thing ever that you were sitting on the front row in your jersey.
Yo, no.
You were wearing a Tony Allen jersey on the front row. They're like, yo, tell him to check in.
That joke was smeedy.
I told Tia, I said,
Yo,
man,
I
you
did
should
have a hoodie on, though. I mean, a sweater on.
I told Tia, you should have sized up on that joint, man.
Yo, shout out to Robin Hood, man.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
D'Anthony Melton took my boys, my little guys, to the ice cream stand. He was like, I'm going to get ice cream. You want to go with? So he took my little guys to the ice cream stand. So, guess who their favorite player is now? John Morant. But outside of that, D'Anthony Melton's pretty high up on the list. How about this? We got youth small D'Anthony Melton jerseys at our house right now. Love D'Anthony Melton. That was a fun night.
It was a fun night, man.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Who will lead the Grizz in steals this season?
I'm going to go with Pippen for steals this season.
So I'm going to go with Jaren.
I'm going to go, as long as he's in the rotation, I'm going to go Jake Laravia for total steals, and I'll have Marcus Smart in my back pocket for steals per game.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Yellow laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got black on the trim and on the edges, and you got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there.
Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Welcome back. You know who has the best stats? Sean Coleman. And he had this one last night. Before this season, the Memphis Grizzlies had never had 60-plus rebounds and 35-plus assists in the same game. And they have now done it twice in the past month. 60-plus rebounds and 35-plus assists. Those are two staples. And yes, with a wounded Portland front court, it's easy to gobble up rebounds. No Donovan Clingan. Robert Williams had to leave the game with a concussion. Those Trailblazers players were hitting the deck. Like the number of times Eric on the radio broadcast last night was like, oh, that's another one for Portland where they went down really, really hard. And Robert Williams, one of those. That was his first start of the season last night. He's had to come back from injury. I think that was his 7th game of the season. But anyway, as it pertains to the Grizzlies, 60 rebounds, Santi Aldama had 17 of them. Like, there are so many storylines around this Grizzlies team, but the rebounding of Santi Aldama and the efficiency right now of Santi Aldama coming off the bench, 13 and 17. He was 6 of 12 from the field. He made his 1 3 that he took. He has just been really impressive. And if he could just level up one more step on the defensive end, like that Team Spain Santi is a real thing.
He's different than Team Spain. Team Spain, he's more of a scorer, right? Like,
exactly,
come down
but
the
you
court,
don't need
find
him to be that.
And he's going to score. What he's done really, really well so far this year is, to your point, accepting the challenge that comes with fitting into a different sort of a role. Hey, Santi, listen, you're going to be on the court at times with John Morant, Desmond Bane, Luke Kennard, Jaren Jackson Jr., G.G. Jackson, and we would like for those guys to take the shots. But if you're open after the ball swings, you can feel free to take your shot as well. What we need you to do, though, is get in there and be physical on the glass. And that's something that I think Taylor Jenkins and this Grizzlies coaching staff have done a really good job hammering home with these guys. And you can see them boxing out. Like, that's jarring for me to watch a Grizzlies game and say, oh,
good
look at that box out by Santi. Like, they're making contact with the opposing team's players, and they're putting a body on them. And it's, hey, even if I don't get the rebound, my guy's not going to go get it. I'm freeing it up for somebody else to come in and then chase the ball down. And that's what Santi did well last night. Not just boxing out, but, hey, the ball is loose up there. Everybody's boxing out. I've got to go get the ball. And he's done a great job of that. He did a great job of that last night, and he's done a really good job of that this season. He's had a couple of double-digit rebound performances already on the year. And I think it's about it's a testament to, like I said before, Taylor Jenkins and this coaching staff really getting everybody to buy in on the rebounding front. Hey, got to be physical, and you got to go want the basketball, and that's huge for them.
The physicality and the effort. And even on nights when the shooting hasn't been there, and the shooting last night started so hot. I think they were 7 of 10 from 3 to start the game and end up 12 of 28 overall. But those effort plays have been one of the consistencies for this team. They next play on Wednesday. They'll play the Detroit Pistons. Pistons had a buzzer beater win from Jaden Ivey, shout out son of Niele Ivey, on the Pistons. Buzzer beater win for him over the Raptors last night. Before we move to the Tigers, just a couple headlines from around the NBA. We talked about the big Knicks game. Warriors blew a 18-point lead at home to the Brooklyn Nets. Grizzlies know what it's like to lose to the Brooklyn Nets at home. Witnessed that earlier in the season. The Celtics, a 51-point second quarter for the Boston Celtics. They made 12 threes in the second quarter.
I'm not sure what you're supposed to do with
nothing
with that. Now, I will
Do you
say,
find it fun to watch the Boston Celtics? No,
God,
it's so boring.
No. It's the same issue I had watching Golden State Warriors.
Sure.
Where it's just, hey, we're just going to come down the court. We're going to take a bunch of threes. We're going to make a bunch of threes. We're going to play really well. I enjoy watching.
There was a flair with that.
There was a flair because Steph Curry was being a little twerp on the court, shimmying and shaking, and we just allowed him to get away with that because he's light-skinned and small. I enjoy watching them defensively. The Celtics defensively are really, really good. They can switch damn near everything because their two superstars, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, can guard multiple positions. It's nothing to see Jaylen Brown down there battling with somebody on the blocking. You feel comfortable with Jaylen Brown doing that.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to see Jason Tatum out there on the perimeter, and you think to yourself, oh, the length that Tatum has out there on the perimeter makes him a good enough defender to keep, and he's quick enough to keep dudes in front of him, right? So that them defensively is fun to watch, but offensively, it's inevitable also. And that's something else that Warriors team was when they were at their height. They were inevitable. You knew they were going to give you a quarter or two
like
when they were just going to fill it up. Now,
it's the burying nature of it. It's just like pouring sand consistently through a quarter, and next thing you know, you're under, and there's no climbing back out.
Darius Garland had a terrible game in part because of the defense that was being played against them when at the time undefeated Cavs played the Celtics. But the Celtics won that game by like 4 or 5, like maybe one possession. And Darius Garland had an off game, and the Celtics caught fire from 3. So I would think, if you just want to be counter Celtics, you could say, oh, They needed a bunch of things to happen that probably won't happen again to beat this Cavs team. And this Cavs team with Mobley and with Allen on the inside specifically present a unique problem for this Celtics roster, if that's how you want to do it.
That was also before they got Kristaps back last night. So now you add Porzingis into the mix.
Listen, I'm just trying to give fuel to the anti-Celtics fire, man. I didn't say it was logical. I didn't say it was right. They feel pretty damn inevitable.
Yeah. They do. One last thing that was the weirdest thing I saw last night. Do you remember Elfrid Payton?
Yeah.
Elfrid Payton, who hasn't played in an NBA game since 2022. I interviewed Elfrid Payton in my Nepo baby years at the Sun Belt basketball tournament in 2014 when I was trying to get some sideline reporter reps. 2014. He had 21 assists for the Pelicans last night. They lost, but the Pelicans have turned into the Grizzlies of last year, and we've already made this reference because they are at the point where it's like, look at this feel-good story of Elfrid Payton, who we had to sign because we have no players because everybody's hurt. And now you have Elfrid Payton dropping 21 assists in a game. Still lost. But what a story. I saw it. It was in the Athletic newsletter this morning as like their main NBA headline. And it really is so a la 2023-2024 Memphis Grizzlies season.
When were you out?
But it was cool.
You were out 2 Fridays ago?
Yeah.
Because that's when he got signed. 'Cause we talked about it. Lang was like, yo, did you know Elfrid Payton was out of the league?
Back.
He's back now. It's like, oh, shoot, no.
He is back. All right, the Memphis Tigers yesterday with a huge win. What a fun way to tip off Feast Week. And I was listening to Gary and Bennett talk yesterday about Feast Week being one of the most fun sports weeks of the year. And I completely agree, because with Thanksgiving week, you have these marquee college basketball tournaments mixed with the NFL, mixed with college football, meaningful college football games, and especially so this year with so many games that can really hold weight in the college football playoff race. We'll get the college football playoff rankings tonight. You have the NBA games as well. Things are picking up steam. But college basketball, like, this is when I find myself watching college basketball intently for the first time. And I love an afternoon game. You know, I love an afternoon game. But I know there are a lot of other people who start watching college basketball intently, and they all saw the Memphis Tigers beat UConn yesterday. And it was a statement for the Tigers, and we'll get into the Dan Hurley of it all, because that's going to make the national headlines, and Dan Hurley calling the officiating an effing joke for the end of that game. But I want to give credit to a Memphis team that built up that 13-point lead to begin with, lost it, goes to overtime, loses 2 of their best players, and still manages to beat the back-to-back national champions in Hawaii. Penny Hardaway called it the biggest game of his career at Memphis. Many have echoed that sentiment. You're making a face. I have to agree, because of the opponent and the timing. I know he has one NCAA tournament game. I know there was an AAC conference championship game, but because it was UConn, because this is a season that has so much built into it in the success and in the stratosphere of the Penny Hardaway era, I think it was the biggest win. And it came in tremendous fashion. You would say no, though, CJ. What game would you call the biggest?
The championship game against Houston. Houston is, at the time, I can't remember. I was trying to figure out where Houston was ranked. They were certainly in the top 10, I do believe. And that was a game that you lose that game, and I'm not sure if you get into the tournament that year. Right, that typical Memphis basketball under Penny Hardaway, they exist on the bubble. That's where they were coming into that game. And we thought that they were going to be in if they got to the AAC championship game, but we weren't sure they were going to be in. And so you needed that win to solidify your spot, to leave no doubt in the selection committee's mind about whether or not you're in, because you got the automatic qualifying spot. And you're playing against a conference rival, the best team in that conference. You're going up against a coach in Coach Sampson, who is every bit the peer, I would think, of Coach Hurley. And that Houston team was really, really good that year as well. So I feel like that game mattered more from a tournament resume building and from a tournament appearance standpoint. That's why I would have that game in there and all of the Houston games in there over this one. But I got you. It's a good win.
It's a fair argument, and you certainly can be a prisoner of the moment. But combined with only having one returning player on this year's team, plus the shakeup of the staff going a month into the season. When Gary was on our show yesterday, he even talked about it. The chaotic nature, the circus-like nature of the national perception of Memphis. And if you were sitting down to watch Memphis-UCONN yesterday, you couldn't help but be impressed by the style of play, the physicality of this team, the perhaps best backcourt in college basketball. It is early to be making those kind of declarative statements, but when you see the play of Tyrese Hunter and PJ Haggerty yesterday, you certainly can make the argument for it. Tyrese Hunter, he's a bucket. Those 7 threes, he had 26 points. He said, what did he say at that one point where he was like, I'm him, just yelling, and you can't argue. Like that was his moment. And then combine that with Haggerty, the two of them combining for 48 points. So they're the headline, but what stood out to me so much was just the contributing nature of so many other players. Like PJ Carter going 6 of 6 at the free throw line, that healed something in Memphis. Like Memphis fans are so accustomed to dreading a player stepping up to the free throw line in clutch moments of a game, and they get the ghosts. They get the Mario ghosts of the past. And instead, he makes them. The big shot from Colby Rogers that came at a critical time. Dane Danger played really well. Like, it wasn't just Hunter and Haggerty going off. It was a real collective effort from Memphis, and it was impressive. Would I have preferred for it to be handled in regulation because of the stress of it all and not fouling? How many times did you yell foul up 3 at the end of the game?
Defend the 3, no. Just defend the 3.
Or just foul up 3.
Or just...
As they did in overtime.
Just defend the 3. I forget who it was who got completely turned around out there. You know where it's coming. Just pit 5 people.
It was Hunter.
Yeah, pit 4 or 5 people around the arc and say, hey, switch everything. And when you switch, you're switching up. Don't fall back, switch up, get into them. If they go by you, they go by you. Don't foul, don't contest once they go by you, right? Like, you can't get spun completely around off of that action to give up the open look. The decision to foul, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. That's not what I do. I say guard the damn 3 better. Good grief, kid. Damn. Jessica, we talked about old boy on the behind the back no-look job pass getting turned around. That dude got turned completely around.
He did.
His body is this way. The play is happening that way. He's like, uh-oh. Then he turns like, come on, man. You can't get lost like that out there.
No, you cannot. But ultimately...
But it's a good win for the Tigers.
Good win for the Tigers, and it's not every day where you do feel like some of the officiating calls are going the way of Memphis. And Dan Hurley would say that it was an unfair whistle for back-to-back national champions. You know what? What does that even mean?
What does that even mean?
Are you saying the quiet part out loud? Are you saying that your team should be officiated differently?
Get preferential
exactly.
treatment? Get out of here.
Don't say that.
Stop it, Coach Hurley.
Come on. I saw somebody on Twitter say, like, I'm a big fan of Dan Hurley, but even I have to admit, his post-game press conference was not a good look. He told CBS Sports, this came from Matt Norlander, that he didn't feel like his overtime tech cost UConn the game. He said, I think it was the shitty calls. I would expect to come to play in an event, and I don't know too many back-to-back national championship teams that get that type of a whistle. He has the over-the-back call was not...
That was a bad call.
It was a bad call. Okay. And in the moment of the game, it was a bad call.
In any moment.
But he deserved the tag.
It was a bad call.
Like, he was hot that whole game. And if I'm an official, I'm sick of that ish. And so at some point, you're going to call the technical foul.
Call it my only...
Also, I love the word ballistic.
My only...
We don't use it enough.
Critique on the official, call it sooner.
Sure.
Call it in the first half. Like, hey, coach, get this under control, man.
But they called a tech. They didn't call a tech on Hurley early in the game. They called a tech on the
medical
trainer.
Staff, the medical trainer.
He was like, he's the nicest guy in the world for him to be saying something.
Do we have the Hurley presser? Did you send that?
I
thought you sent that. Okay. You got to... I'll try and find it and send it, Kyra, for the Will Coleman segment. You've got to hear him in the presser, because reading it does not do it justice. My man is a legitimate psycho. He is Norman Bates level of cuckoo, right? Like, he's outside his rabbit ass mind. And he started the game. We talked about it for a brief moment before we transitioned in the first segment to the Grizzlies. He started the game is like 5-3. It's like 17 minutes left, and he is livid over there on the sideline. And I don't know who the hell he's mad at. I don't know if it's his players for their lack of defensive intensity, if it's the officials, if it's the fact he had to fly all the way to Hawaii, which you think would be relaxing.
He should be relaxed.
Like, this man is crazy.
If there's anyone who's incapable of ever being relaxed in Hawaii, I would think it would be Dan Hurley. Dan Hurley wears socks and shoes on the beach. He never takes the socks and shoes out. I don't know that as a fact. That's just my assumption based on how he operates.
Picture Dan Hurley standing there as the sun rises, sun coming up, on the beach, looking out over the beautiful Pacific Ocean that's over there in Hawaii. Beautiful beach, socks and shoes on his feet, full-on coach attire, the polo shirt, the khakis, just standing there like, it's time to go to work. These boys have slept long enough. And then he just lets out, he just bellows. It's not even a scream. It's a bellow from his soul. Let's go. And then he just goes into the locker room, into the hotel room and wakes his players up because it's time to go to work. Like he's crazy.
Yeah. And the thing is, like you said, call it earlier on Hurley. And I think that's a fair point. But this has become, I don't want to call it a shtick because it's who he is. It's who he is at his core. But it's become the character of Dan Hurley. And over these last, especially 2 championship seasons, that lore of crazy Dan Hurley has continued to grow. And so he is allowed to coach and he is allowed to chirp at the officials throughout the game.
If you're going to allow it the whole game.
That's where the argument becomes.
It's 40 seconds left in the game. You've allowed it this far. You hadn't reined it in this far. Like, deal with it the last 40 seconds.
I understand his frustration because he's used to being able to get away with it. And so you call it in that moment of the game, and it feels unfair, whatever. Memphis wins.
Yeah, Memphis wins. It's a quality win.
It's a quality win. Will Coleman just walked in the studio. I know nobody is more excited about that Tigers win than Will Coleman. Well, maybe Elliot Perry, because EP was amped about it on the radio broadcast for the Grizzlies last night. We'll continue the conversation about the Tigers, what Will liked the most, when we come back.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping. It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
Behind the back to Jared for the flush.
We're going to need, the form rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Payne 3. Yes, sir. Desmond Payne with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity. And win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzlies stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
D'Anthony Melton took my little guys, to the ice cream stand. He was like, I'm going to get ice cream. You want to go with? So he took my little guys to the ice cream stand. So, guess who their favorite player is now? John Morant. But outside of that, D'Anthony Melton's pretty high up on the list. How about this? We got youth small D'Anthony Melton jerseys at our house right now. Love D'Anthony Melton. That was a fun night.
It was a fun night, man.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
It's the top 5 worst teams in the NFL. I think the Panthers are the worst team in the NFL.
I got the Saints number 1. Ha! Let's put the Aints up there. They're terrible.
I'll take the Titans as my worst team in the NFL. If they played Will Levis, they're for sure the worst team. Maybe in NFL history. Might be worse than the 0-16 Lions if they play Will Levis.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Yellow laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got black on the trim and on the edges.
I gotta get 'em.
And you got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there.
Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Goldberg announces he's going to have a retirement match in 2025, and he said this on College Game Day.
We know you're trying to ride the coattails because the 2025 is supposed to be the year of John Cena. Goldberg, I have a message for you, my guy. We don't care about your retirement match. Your retirement match was 3 years ago. Go somewhere, go away.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
on this glorious Tuesday, coming off a Grizzlies win, a Tigers win, and we have former Memphis Tiger Will Coleman in studio to talk about Memphis' win over UConn yesterday. Will, I feel like I should say congratulations to you. Congratulations to your Tigers.
Man.
What was your experience like watching a big win from the Maui Invitational?
From the jump, my boys came out aggressive. Aggressive.
Setting.
Man, set the tone. Set the tone. And I think that kind of set the tone for, sounds silly, but the refs too, man. Refs like the more aggressive team. I just feel like, if you got a team out there that's playing, doing what they got to do, not really complaining. Refs love players who don't complain. They just do. They'll tell you. They'll tell you.
What about coaches who complain? Have you ever seen anything as brave as an official teeing up Dan Hurley with 40 seconds left in a game?
That's
an act of bravery.
It is. But maybe it was just the timing was bad, but maybe it was just, ref just was fed up, had enough. He had enough, man. He had enough. He barked one too many times.
It happens to all of us. I understand how it happens to officials. You get chirped at long enough, and you snap.
Yeah.
And you're like, enough is enough. I don't want to hear this anymore.
And unfortunately, a ref has the power to, not necessarily dictate a game, but it's almost like, all right, man, you've been bothering me all game. And you see what this game at. This game is literally in my hands, and you want to act like this?
Let's hear what Dan Hurley had to say in the presser about that call.
But I had a lot of issues with what went on out there in the game. That over the back call at that point of the game, there was no attempt to block out. There was a player on Memphis that made a half-ass effort to rebound that basketball, and Liam McNeely high-pointed that rebound. For that call to be made at that point of the game was a complete joke, all right? And then for me, I don't know what happened. I might have lost my balance by the absurdity of the call, or maybe I tripped. But if I made that call at that point, I would have ignored the fact that I was on my back. If I made that call, I would have ignored that. That was a major, obviously a major. How you could call that while that game was going on, the way that game was going on, is just beyond me. But I know. I've never seen the one ref before. I didn't even know he was a college ref. And then, I'm familiar with the other two, so I'm not surprised.
That one ref, never heard of him. Other two, not surprised. That smile, you want to know who it reminded me of? Jim Carrey playing not Lemony Snicket, but playing the evil Dr. Olaf in the Series of Unfortunate Events movie. He knows behind those hazel eyes. He knows that what he is saying is BS.
You almost want to. It's one of those things. It's just like, I don't promote violence, but it's just one of those. You just want to in the face.
Just a bop in the nose.
Just boom. Just boop.
Yeah, just a boop.
Yeah, y'all outside y'all damn mind if you think I'm booping that man. I'm not booping him.
And then you can tell he an ugly crier. His face. You ever seen that meme?
What we're not
going to
do is come for ugly criers, Will. As the queen of the ugly crier club.
That meme with the baby in his face would just turn up. That's what Hurley looked like every time he curled his lip when he complained, man.
Listen, he's obviously a great coach.
Great coach.
Great coach. Do not want to understate that.
And he don't like losing.
But yesterday afternoon, he directly contributed to his team's loss. I don't want to take. It's a difficult balance because you don't want to take away from everything the Tigers did, and his team could have done a better job collectively to not end up in the position where a technical call on Dan Hurley in that case does ultimately lead the Tigers to getting the win. But it played a big part.
You want to know what else contributed to that loss?
Tyrese Hunter and PJ Haggerty?
God doggone it! Hey, let me tell you something. Them boys,
Tell me something.
I don't know who was Batman and who was Robin yesterday, because both of them was really, it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Haggerty got to the rim at will. He was aggressive, got these guys in foul trouble. And Hunter was like, all right, I ain't gonna let my dog in the trenches by himself. Let me get in here and get in the action. Shot after shot. I'm talking about just what they said. Jay said it at this, but just they look like they having fun, man. Mm-hmm. They look like they having fun. And that's and when you having fun playing stress-free basketball, that was pay-per-view. I would have paid money to watch that game yesterday. Yeah. Straight up. I would have paid money. If they would have told me, Will Coleman, this game right here gonna be $50 a pop, I would have paid that 50. Why? That game was that good. That game was that good. I was that proud of my Tigers, man.
So they blew that 13-point lead, Will. What was going through your mind?
Okay.
And how did they go about blowing that 13-point lead? What could have been done differently to keep from blowing the 13-point lead?
I think they got a little comfortable. You know, they started having a little too much fun. They started having a little too much fun, and they got comfortable. You know, we stopped attacking the rack. And we were doing things. They weren't necessarily boneheaded plays, but there was one play where, again, y'all know I'm a Cisse fan. Cisse was running the floor, and he was out in transition. He was up ahead of the defense, you know. And they try and throw a three-quarter court pass to him, and it's like, all right, y'all, we know Cisse. You know, catching has been a pain point for Cisse. We talked about this. You know, we make plays like that can't happen. Obviously, it may look good. But the probability of Cisse catching that in transition while he's sprinting full speed, those are some things that you kind of got to stay away from. Right. And you know, we were kind of missing some late passes. We were doing great on the pick and roll. Danger was, I mean, oh my God, footwork is crazy.
Really good.
He was phenomenal, you know, yesterday. Got the bigs in foul trouble early. And one thing I noticed, even with UConn, if they would have had Reed in instead of Reed was giving us more fits than the starting big. And if they would have went, I mean, he was giving us fits, but like I said, we got comfortable, we got lax, started making some boneheaded plays, some unnecessary passes, and that kind of got him. And we blew some assignments on defense.
Right. Those two Liam McNeely threes. One of them was tough, but the other was a pretty open look. And you allowed timely threes, and then ultimately the game tire by, I think it was Solo Ball who hit the tied three that sent it into overtime. And when you're playing a team like UConn, who, you know, we don't really know who UConn is yet this season. So much of the star power of last year is in the NBA now. So you lost significant members of this team, and they hadn't played anyone. Like the majority of their opponents had been outside the top 300. Meanwhile, for the Tigers, I did think yesterday was also a testament to the two exhibition games that they played and the resiliency that they have learned to play with, be it their first half struggles or getting into a fight. And they lost that exhibition game against North Carolina, but really showing fight at the end and understanding how to navigate late game situations against well-coached teams.
Oh, yeah. Because they took advantage. They took advantage of the mishaps. They took advantage of the blown assignments on defense. They saw the open looks. I mean, they are a real disciplined team, and I think a lot of people know that's what Dan Hurley is. I mean, just straight up discipline. You see the clips on the internet. You see the things that they do. They post about him. I mean, he's disciplined to the core, and to be able to continue to execute and not give up in overtime on a team like that, especially with Haggerty on the bench, I think it shows, to your point, like you said, the resiliency, and it shows the ability for other people to step up and fill a role that's so important in Haggerty when he's arguably the most aggressive person on the team. So when you have people step up and continue to do it or pick up where he left off, I think that shows a lot about the team that we have.
The Tigers in the 4 games prior to this UConn game, I feel like 3 of them had absolutely awful first halves. Yeah. And I was expecting that to be the case in this one. It wasn't, right? It kind of surprised me. What were the Tigers doing differently in the first half of this game compared to the first half of other ones? Why were they able to avoid that slow first half start?
Man, I think again, I know I sound like a broken record, but it all started with Haggerty. And I don't know if that was the game plan or if Penny was just more like, hey, you need to do what you do. But that aggression and with him attacking as much as he was, started to draw the fouls, and started to, we saw the scale kind of tip in our favor with the amount of aggression that was being applied to that UConn team. And I think we hit them in the mouth. Like you said, to your point, I don't want to disrespect any college athlete, because if you can earn a college scholarship, you deserve to be on the floor with somebody. But they hadn't played anybody of significance, to your point, based off who we've played.
Mm-hmm.
So they come out and they probably think they finna, take over. We got a Memphis team that's probably gonna lay down, because we got a team full of quote unquote nobodies. And I've said that. Again, everybody has a name here, and we got some really great players, but none of the egos and that 5-star power like I've mentioned before.
The name building of Hunter and Haggerty coming off yesterday.
Yes, correct. And so when UConn got a team, they think they just got another, we finna go out here, take care of business, and advance to the next round. Well, newsflash, buddy. Hey, them Tigers came out and let them know, hey, we deserve to be in the discussion of being one of the top teams in the country, and they showed that last night.
Those free throws from PJ Carter goes 6 of 6 in the clutch. Did you ever doubt one of them was going in, or did you feel comfortable? Because we all know watching late game free throws for Tigers fans is a attack on the stomach often.
I feel like it's only right if you expect only one of them to go in, just based off
vibes
and current events. I mean, just the
they're
course of the game.
Current events, man.
I guess people talk about it so much it make them feel like they're current events.
Memphians have not let his free throw. They never let them go.
Like anytime a player misses a free throw in this, Grizzlies, Tigers, it's like, well, of course they missed a free throw. It's
you remember that time in 2003 against Louisville?
Yeah, man. I just think it's it's brought up so much, but man, there's so many things that you can look at and dissect about this game, but the biggest thing is like I said again, it's just the aggression that we applied to that team, and I think a team, UConn took us for granted. UConn thought it was going to be a walk in the park, and they look up, it's 40 to 40 at half. It's like, oh damn, this a ball game. Like that, but at that time, everybody got 2-3 fouls? It's too late.
The thing about Feast Week, they're back at it again today.
Man.
They play Michigan State.
1:30 that day. 1:30.
No.
Is that wrong?
5 o'clock.
Oh, our time. 1:30 their time, 5 o'clock our time?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, 1:30 and 5 would not be the same time.
It's 1:30 somewhere. I'm so excited.
Actually, if it's 5 o'clock somewhere, I don't think it's 1:30 anywhere. But listen, I said that 3/4 court shots should count even if the buzzer's already gone off. So we are an anti-time show on this show now. But we get Penny Hardaway against Tom Izzo. It's another big matchup. Michigan State really handled Colorado yesterday, 72-56. But Tigers are in the winner's bracket. What does at this point, you get the win over UConn. You certainly don't want that to be your championship of the Maui Invitational, but it was a big win.
Yeah.
What does a successful rest of the week look like?
First off, we're going to go into this game. Hey, damn the UConn game. It's over with.
Yes.
We didn't roll that wave, no pun intended, with them being down in Maui. We didn't roll that wave, so just they got to go in the trash can. Don't forget it, but they got to go away. We got another game.
On the shelf. We don't have to throw it away.
We throw it away. I don't want nothing to do with it now.
Okay.
We got a very, very big, important game. Because to your point, I know I don't want to look past anybody, but I also would love to see a rematch of North Carolina and Memphis. I know we got to take care of business today, but same thing, man. You stick to your guns and stick to what got you here. Continue to be aggressive. Continue to be the more aggressive team. Obviously, Izzo being the great coach that he is, he's going to have a damn good game plan. But this is where you see this is where you see where your coaches are made of, because you're scouted, you're playing back to back, you don't really have time to prep for a team, and this is where you can see how your coaches respond on the fly, on the go. Those timeouts, how informational those can be, and how much you can piece together in those timeouts, and how strategic you can be in tournaments like this. And I think that's what tells a lot about your program and a lot about your coaching when you go into things like this.
Yeah, because like you said, Will, you have no time off. You go straight from game to game, 1, and 2, you don't know who you're playing, right?
Right.
So that UConn game ends and you're Memphis. This is one of the best things about Feast Week for me is that game ends and it is, okay, who are you playing next? So everybody kind of just hangs out in the gym and you're all sitting there basically doing like live film study as the teams are playing around out there. How difficult was it because you guys played in a bunch of tournaments when you were at Memphis? How difficult was it for you guys as players to get the game plan, get it going, and get ready for the next game?
I mean, it's very difficult because the only thing in a tournament like this, and I think it shows a testament to every coaching staff out there, because when something like this ends, you got the guys who are working behind the scenes, man, trying to figure, hey, get the game film, you up. And, huge shout out to, he's one of my favorite guys, Jordan Verhulst. He's on the staff, and he was on the staff when I was in school. I mean, those guys are up, 2, 3, maybe 4 in the morning trying to piece together film to make sure these guys are as successful as they can be. So, they're pumping out scouting reports. They're cutting film to make sure the coaches have it. They're pumping film to make sure the guys can see it. Guys get their scouting reports. But ultimately, in something this early, all you have is what? You got one game under your belt and maybe some exhibition games. And even in those games, you don't have everybody that plays. You don't have all of your personnel on the floor. So it can be very difficult, and it's a lot of learning on the fly and picking up the pieces as you go when you're in tournaments like this.
Do you even go with a game plan, or do you just say, hey, we just got to go out there and play whatever our brand of basketball is and figure it out from there?
Yeah, because you'll have some guys that have some standouts, some guys that you can really, so-and-so only like to go right, play him to his left. Or let's say, hypothetically speaking, you playing a Syracuse, if Boeheim was there, okay, this guy loves a 2-3. Let's do this, and this. I'm just throwing stuff out there, but generally, some teams have an identity, and you can usually exploit or kind of see and look what they do year after year. But when you got somebody that you know nothing about, again, you learning on the fly, man. And I think that's where the coaching comes in, because you're having to watch, make sure your team is executing, but you're also having to watch to see what the other team is doing, so you can coach on the fly and put together solid game plans while you're playing.
Well, and like you said, it would be fascinating if Memphis does win this game. And if North Carolina were to beat Auburn, that game's on at 11 p.m. on ESPN. If you think I'm up at 11 p.m. watching Auburn, North Carolina. But that's the number 4 and the number 11 team in the country. You faced UNC in an exhibition game. It would be great. But you do have to get past a tough Michigan State team. That is the winner's side of the bracket. Auburn beat Iowa State in a real close game yesterday, 83-81. It was a good game. But it'll be fun to see how the rest of it plays out. And we'll see you next week when we're sitting here. Yes, CJ, last thing.
Spaghetti, lasagna, Thanksgiving.
Good question.
Are those a side?
Spaghetti for sure.
Spaghetti is a side. Thanksgiving. It's a side just in general.
Yeah.
Lasagna, is that a side or is that a main?
No.
Okay. Not
because you got lasagna. Lasagna with some bread, a roll, and a salad. That's a meal right there.
But lasagna is a side on a holiday. Lasagna can be
a
meal.
You can't exempt a meal.
Yes, you can.
You can't pick and choose.
Holiday rules.
All right, Sunday dinner, y'all, we got lasagna. Full course. Oh, Thanksgiving, we got the lasagna. We're going to make them a side. Can't do you.
Why you can't do it? I can get a plate of lasagna and a plate of turkey and a plate of, on one plate, right? Lasagna, turkey, dressing, spaghetti, mac and cheese, greens, cranberry sauce.
Thanksgiving rules abide by buffet rules.
I like that, Jessica.
At a buffet, any pasta is a side because everything, here, big brain it, everything's a side. The turkey's a side. Every single.
See, you thinking outside the box.
There is no main.
The turkey is a main.
The turkey is a main.
In your
Turkey's
brain?
a main.
Turkey is
absolutely
in
a main.
everybody's brain. You're not gonna pull up. Name one Thanksgiving you pull up to ain't got no turkey unless you eat with like some vegetarians or something.
On my plate.
No.
Wait.
Yeah.
No, dog.
Every plate has a base though, which makes it the main.
Why does it make it the main? Who decided it was the main?
Your taste buds decided it was the main. What do you mean?
When you think Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but my taste buds, my most excited thing for my taste buds, we were talking about this in the break leading up to it. Like, what's your favorite Thanksgiving food? And it sounds dumb because it's mac and cheese.
That's
but
a side.
I love mac and cheese always.
Would you make mac and cheese a main?
Mac and cheese is not a side, it's a vegetable, Will.
Thank you. Important clarification.
Do you let the vegetable touch the yams a little bit?
Yeah, hell yeah. That's the best part. That line of demarcation, if I could just get that bottled up in a jar, I'd eat it every single day. I need the yam juice with the green juice, with the bit of dressing, with some of the ham grease, with some of the turkey juice, with some of the red sauce from the pasta. I need that in that
I
area.
want the crispy side of the lasagna.
Oh.
There is nothing better than the crispy nudes of a lasagna.
Man, that girl said nudes.
Side of the pan.
I do have a question though.
Love crispy
Serious
nudes.
question.
You love the nudes. I love the nudes too, dog.
Serious question here, Jessica.
Yes.
I'm only asking this because of,
Let's do it.
you know,
Oh, no, I don't know.
I'm only asking this because, and I like to every time, you know.
I feel like this is gonna be a two Americans question. Will,
Yeah,
don't
we
warm
in
it
the
up to
sensitive
it.
climate, so I like to
Don't
preface
warm it up.
everything.
Just
I
drop
love
it off.
everybody. I love Caucasian people. My baby mama
thank you
Caucasian.
so
I love
much.
everybody. But I
You
want to
love
ask
who-
you
you
this.
love who again?
Caucasian people.
Caucasian. All right.
I love when we
Caucasian
throw out
people.
the Caucasian.
I love Caucasian people.
Let's
Love
go.
everybody.
Jeez, why?
When you pull up to the Thanksgiving, if I was as the homie, if I come to
Yeah.
your house and I see dressing, am I pulling up to Ocean Spray, cranberry sauce, or am I pulling up to a bowl of chutney?
The handmade cranberry sauce.
Oh, no. Straight out the can.
Okay, I'm just making sure because people be putting that
Can.
chutney stuff out. I be ready to throw it on the floor. Don't put that chutney crap in my face,
There are
dog.
two
I got to
things-
fight you if you got
Two
some
things
chutney
that
at your
come
house.
from the can on my Thanksgiving, and I don't like cranberry sauce, but
Okay.
we would get it out of the can. And then the green bean casserole, where you just get the canned green beans and the canned cream of tomatoes, or not cream of tomato,
Mushroom.
cream of mushroom soup, and the little crispies.
Dang.
As many crispy onions as possible.
That's it.
That's where like
That's all
Thanksgiving
I'm-
makes
hey.
canned goods cool. You
Hey.
know?
I'm just checking.
Okay.
Enjoy it while you can, Will, because I have
People
a
make
feeling.
cranberry sauce from scratch.
Chutney with real it's nasty work, man.
I don't like
It's nasty work. Anybody, I know y'all clip a lot of stuff on your show.
Clip it.
But if somebody listen, if you got chutney at your house, or if you intend on having chutney at your house, put it in the trash. Just cancel it. Don't even put it out.
You
Just
told
throw it
me.
away, dog. It should be illegal to put chutney out for dressing at Thanksgiving.
What do you drink on Thanksgiving?
Not eggnog.
No.
I need something.
Ew,
like,
I would vomit if someone put a glass of eggnog in front of me with my Thanksgiving plate. That would be
Just
the
give me
worst
like a
thing
soda
ever.
or something.
I don't soda. It fills my belly up too much. Like I don't like drinking on Thanksgiving. I need
Sparkling
something
apple
easy.
juice.
I don't. Kyra
Sparkling
screaming
apple
alcohol.
cider.
Alcohol.
Sweet
Apple
tea.
cider.
Sparkling apple cider or sparkling grape juice.
The sparkle. Like
We got a sparkling
That
apple
carbonation
cherry
feel
one.
you,
Yeah.
get you
I don't
going.
like the combination.
I drink wine.
I don't like wine.
Kyra,
man.
stop. We know you
Yes,
drink
Kyra,
alcohol.
I'm with you, Kyra.
You're an alcoholic.
I'm gonna
We
pour that
understand.
first
Good
glass
Lord.
of champagne at like noon. It's gonna be beautiful. CJ already
I
beating
don't
his
drink.
meal.
See, my mom used to always tell me if you're gonna fall in love with Caucasian women, you need to like two things:
Wine.
wine and Mexican. Mexican food.
Mexican food?
Mexican food. That's what she used to always tell me. She said, "Son, I don't care who you date. I don't
You
care who
know.
you marry. But if you bring a Caucasian woman home, you're gonna need to love two things. You're gonna need to love Mexican food. You're gonna need to love wine."
Mucho queso.
Uh,
I swear, there is something in those bowl
See?
of free
You
chips
see?
out of Mexican.
You see,
restaurant.
dog? You
get
see?
a margarita.
You see?
Everybody loves
You
the free
get-
chips and margarita.
Yeah, I don't
though.
think this is a white people thing. I
That's
think
like
this is an
saying
American
black,
thing.
that's like saying black people love fried chicken. No, everybody loves fried
Nah,
chicken. Why
dog.
we putting that on us?
Nah, bruh. Sitting outside on the patio, Mexican food, margarita, that's
I mean, that's a perfect day.
That's a good day for that's a good day for everybody,
Nah,
Will.
dog.
You wanna
That's
know what
not a
else?
good day for you.
You clarified on the patio because
Don't put
then
me
my
on
head
no
was
patio.
like
And they like to sit in the heat. Don't put me in the heat, fam.
patio with a crisp glass of wine on a summer day, or actually my favorite
Summer
would be
day,
a
see
fall
what I
day.
mean? Don't
fall
sit-
day, right where it's like upper 60s, lower 70s, but you can still sit on that patio.
But y'all like to sit outside in the heat. It'd be 102 degrees
I don't
outside.
sit out in the
Let's sit on the
102 degrees.
patio.
Who are you?
No, dog. No. Don't. I'm not sitting on the patio with you, bro.
Will, thanks for joining us. We have to take a quick break. When we come back, the moment no one's waiting for, but I'm waiting for.
We didn't even tease it.
My Wicked movie review. My
Yo, they
official
say that movie
takeaways.
been going
oh,
crazy.
and
Tease
CJ
that.
and I have a movie of our own.
That's the one we
may-
didn't tease.
I'm not. I almost said
What'd you say? Say it.
nothing.
Okay.
CJ and I have a special creation.
No, we have a movie.
when we come
We made a movie. Not a flick. It's a movie, Kyra.
back.
Those are different.
This is cinema.
Yeah.
That girl, flicks and alcohol.
don't wanna
I can't
miss it.
hear her, but she turned up.
You don't want to miss
That's
it.
Kyra.
We'll be right back.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
I can't tell you how many people texted me and thought it was the funniest thing ever that you were sitting on the front row in your jersey.
Yo, no.
You were wearing a Tony Allen jersey on the front row. They're like, yo, tell him to check in.
That joke was smeedy. I told Tia, I saw Tia, I said,
Yo,
man,
I
you
did
should
have a hoodie on, though. I mean, a sweater.
I told Tia, you should have sized up on that joint, man.
Yo, shout out to Robin Hood, man.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
D'Anthony Melton took my boys, my little guys, to the ice cream stand. He was like, I'm going to get ice cream. You want to go with? So he took my little guys to the ice cream stand. So, guess who their favorite player is now? John Morant. But outside of that, D'Anthony Melton's pretty high up on the list. How about this? We got youth small D'Anthony Melton jerseys at our house right now. Love D'Anthony Melton. That was a fun night.
It was a fun night, man.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Who will lead the Grizz in steals this season?
I'm going to go with Pippen for steals this season. So I'm going to go with Jaren.
I'm going to go, as long as he's in the rotation, I'm going to go Jake LaRavia for total steals, and I'll have Marcus Smart in my back pocket for steals per game.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Goldberg announces he's going to have a retirement match in 2025, and he said this on College Game Day.
We know you're trying to ride the coattails because the 2025 is supposed to be the year of John Cena. Goldberg, I have a message for you, my guy. We don't care about your retirement match. Your retirement match was 3 years ago. Go somewhere, go away.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Two of my favorite things in this world, basketball and dogs. And with Hustle and Hounds, you get them both.
You get them both. That's right. We're here at Hustle and Hounds night. The Memphis Hustle taking on the Texas Legends. It should be a great time.
Let's pet some dogs.
Good, let's get it.
Oh, buddy. Another one of my favorite things, unlimited food, unlimited drink. And if you purchase a courtside ticket to any Hustle game, you get all of that. CJ, please save some chicken fingers for the rest of us. Man, sitting courtside is awesome. I gotta quit my job. This is the life I was meant to live.
How are you gonna sit courtside if you quit your job? These seats, they're affordable, but they do cost money.
But you can get them yourself, so I could get them myself. We got stuff to do. I gotta go walk some dogs.
I'm gonna go to the bouncy house.
All right. This is Baxter. You can even walk your dog in the middle of the basketball court.
Nothing like a bouncy house and hoops. I'm gonna go wreck some kids' days. No. What's the back up? Inside my belly. My belly. My belly. Can you do it? My guy. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Let's go. Hey, that does it for us right here at the Hustle game. Autographs, both of them bow. We got great food. We got to sit courtside. We played in the bouncy house. So much fun things happen right here in the Lander Center when the Memphis Hustle play. Be sure to get your Hustle tickets and come out and see us at the next Hustle game.
It was really spectacular. Really great work. Shout out Eric Honeycutt for making
Honeycutt
magic.
is the man.
Can't
Honeycutt got my
believe you
net.
shoved that kid.
F that kid.
F that kid. I can't believe you had Armando Bacot sign your stomach.
Why? What did you think
have
was going to
no
happen?
shame.
Whenever I do something shameless, you go to that. You have no shame. When are you going to learn that I don't? Like,
I mean,
expect
it's still
it.
a fact.
Yeah,
like
but
I'm just speaking fact. I'm not surprised.
Okay.
It's like
you knew I was going to get my belly signed.
Here's how I would. You have no shame. Would be surprised. You have no shame. I've been around
Got
this
you.
block time and
Got you.
time and time
Okay.
again. What was his response? I mean, we saw in the video, but like,
sign your what? It's like my belly. Like,
at least you
really?
didn't make him like sign your nephew.
No, I thought
Here,
about.
sign this kid.
Well, I got to take him back to his mama, and if he's got
Yeah.
like marks on his forehead, she was like, oh, "What are you
What
doing?
did you do?
Why
What
are
did
you this
do?
way?"
The chicken fingers remain elite.
They
at
had
Hustle
chili
games.
there that
They
was
had
really
chili.
good.
It was good chili, actually.
And they had fries, and you could do chili cheese fries
Yeah.
if you were creative enough. If the back was wide enough, you could do that.
I mean,
the wings
this-
were good.
Wings were good.
They had party wings that were
The
great.
cookies were good.
Oh, I didn't even grab a cookie.
You get that courtside, you get unlimited. Like those Mick Ultras were huge. I texted our dear
Tall boy
friend
Mick
Jenna,
Ultras.
who set up our hustle, our night at the Hustle, and I was like, "Am I allowed to drink a Mick Ultra right now?" She said, "Sure, why not?" I said, "Okay."
You're way better than me because I would have just drank it.
Because you know what?
Been
Solves
like 4
laryngitis. Mick Ultra. It's an old medical tale.
Didn't show the best parts. One, there's a part where Jessica's walking Baxter.
I don't
and
know what you're talking
she
about.
accidentally kicks Baxter as they're walking.
Baxter got adopted.
Shout
Someone
out.
saw me kick that dog and was like, "I must save
Gotta
him."
save it from Jessica.
I didn't
Shout
kick
out.
him. He was behind me, and I tripped over him, but I didn't fall.
Thankfully.
Thankfully.
They'd
They'd never let me go to a workstation
Terrible
event
way
ever
for you to
again.
tear an Achilles. The second best part, I was blocking kids' shots in that bouncy house. And at one point, I block a shot and I go straight to the camera and I scream, "Not in my bouncy house. Get that bleep out of here." So, like, you missed out on some good stuff. But shout out to Honeycutt. Honeycutt did an amazing job.
And shout out to the Hustle. We
And the
really
Hustle.
did. As I was sitting there, this is not. I'm not being paid to say this. It is the honest truth. Chris and I left that game and we said, "What a fun way to spend a night." Like I understand that we all have things going on, and how you choose to spend whatever extra income you have after bills and groceries and everything, like you have to choose how you do that. I think it'd be really fun to go to a Hustle game. And I would love to find my friends and I have been talking for over a year at this point that we want to rent a party bus and go to a
And
Hustle
party
game.
down to the Hustle game?
We want to rent a party bus.
Let me know.
And
I want
go
to get in
South
on
Haven
that. I want to get in on that.
and experience a Hustle game. And
Kyra's
Saturday
down
inspired
also.
me. Okay.
So we
Maybe we're just
want to
doing
do
it
that
with the team.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll
but
do
it can't be a work event because I want to get
It's
litty
you,
on the
me, and
party
Kyra.
bus.
Like, who else? We're not inviting anybody else, are we?
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone
That's
else.
it. So you'll
Chris
bring your
has to
plus
come.
one. I'll bring a plus one.
Kyra will bring a plus one.
She doesn't know anybody. She wants a giant. She wants a giant. No, she won't. If anybody knows a giant.
I was going to say, don't put this girl's business out there.
She
And then
wants
she
a-
says, if anybody knows one.
6'5" or higher, right? 6'5", she's worse than triplet, right? Like,
Yeah.
so, like, if you know.
No,
if you-
Megan, wasn't Megan 6'7"?
No way Megan was 6'7". Ain't no way in hell Megan
I
Triplett
don't know,
wanted
I don't
somebody who was 6'7". I feel like it was like 6'3" or 6'4" or something like. Either way it goes. If you know a literal giant who's not doing anything, not dating anybody, holla at your boy so we can set him up with Kyra. How many people do we need for a party bus?
I don't know. The limit does not exist.
So, like 8?
I mean, I can't leave out my friends who have been trying to do this.
How many of them is that?
6.
So the party bus is full. So you got 3 more, that's 9. I was going to say 8, 9.
Right.
We're good to go. Let's get it.
Sign us up.
Let's do it. We can, you know what we can listen to? We can listen to the Wicked soundtrack.
Wicked
I come into
soundtrack?
my house yesterday. My wife has that nonsense blaring.
I want to throw a party just so I can be in control of the aux cord, just so I can force everybody to listen to the Wicked soundtrack. Although I will say at this point, I have been going back and forth between Gen X and the Wicked soundtrack. Like if the new year of, I never know how the time frames work when they track your music listening for the year, but I am stacking up listens to both of those albums here. I think they just go into the abyss because I don't think they count towards this year and I don't think they count towards next year. But the Wicked album is giving me a lot of play. I am still running this half marathon in 2 weeks and I'm a little nervous because of the whole laryngitis sickness thing. I went 14 days without running. I went on a 2.5 mile run yesterday and was like, oh no, I'm in danger. But I know what's going to get me through it. It's going to be the Wicked soundtrack and I'm going to press play. I'm going to run the first 3 miles of the half marathon. And then I'm going to press play, and it's like a 54-minute album, and that's going to get me through the toughest part of the run. And I swear to you, when I hit Defying Gravity, it's going to be the fastest mile I've ever ran in my life. There is something so inspirational about listening to that track, but it's a no-skips album. And I wouldn't say that about the original Broadway cast for the first act of the Wicked album.
How did it play out in the movie?
Perfectly.
Okay.
What questions do you have?
How does it... Is it as bright and as colorful as it looks on the previews?
Interesting you would say that, because one of the biggest critiques of the movie has been the lack of color.
Really?
And that it is not bright enough.
Oh.
And there is a desire from a lot of cinephiles that they would have brightened everything up. It did not distract me. I had heard that critique before I saw it. That's been kind of one of the rumblings around like the big movie people. And it did not bug me. What did bug me, actually, that I had to kind of get used to, I didn't think it was loud enough in the theater that I was in. And then the director, John Chu, actually tweeted about this and said, ask your movie theater to turn the volume up to a 7. I've heard most are playing it at like a 6.5. It was intended to be heard at a 7. And I saw some people who work in movie theaters like push back and say, please don't say that, because the whole reason we do it is because of the sound bleeding into the other side. And I get that. Okay. But in terms of having to get fully lost in the movie, that did take me out of it in the beginning, just because when you see a musical in person, it is the acoustics, it's the live band and the live vocals and the harmonization of it all coming together. And so it took me a brief moment to be like, I'm not thinking about this. And I think it was after we got through The Wizard and I, because Cynthia Erivo crushed The Wizard and I, and that's where it really took off and it didn't bother me anymore. And it was just adjusting how I'm used to hearing this particular story and these songs play out. What I thought was perfect was, I thought everything was perfect. I really did. I had the highest of expectations for this movie.
And it hit them?
And it hit them. And I assumed that it would not.
Yeah.
I assumed that I would be talking myself into liking it more than I did. I would go see it again today. Okay. I would go see it again.
We'll go on Friday if you want to
almost instantly. Great. Sign me up. There's a Grizzlies game. So I'll have to find some other time. And I do want to see Gladiator 2. And I do want to see Moana 2. So it is a big week for the movies. But I do think it's getting Oscar buzz now. And I think the acting.
When we say Oscar.
Best Picture buzz.
Oh.
At least for a nomination.
Okay.
It's kind of a weird year for movies. We don't have to get into the minutia of it.
Well, it's Theater Tuesday, so
I know,
we
but
do get into the minutia.
I haven't seen a lot of the movies yet this year that are also on track to be nominated for Best Picture, but they're not huge commercial movies. And from what I understand, Gladiator 2 not being as good as some had hoped, like it likely won't sit in that space. But there is nothing the Oscars could do better. And I'm not saying a movie should be nominated for this reason, but even just from a telecast standpoint, like you have to have Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande sing Defying Gravity. And it won't be nominated for anything because it's not an original song. It already existed. And so it's not like that song will have anything.
It can't be nominated for...
Best song? No.
Best song?
Mm-mm. It has to be new. And I think there's going to be new songs written for the second movie, which I already know I'll cry my eyes out through. But I am curious how they attack the second movie because the biggest, most known songs come in the first. Wizard and I, Popular, Defying Gravity. All of a sudden, What Is This Feeling has elevated in people's favorite songs because they do it so good in the movie. Like the cinematography, the setting of the scene, and Dancing Through Life is the same way. And so all of those songs hit. Like the dancing in this movie is spectacular. How they build the world out is wonderful. The way that Defying Gravity acts almost like an action, not almost like, it is an action movie scene. I was like, we could have been making Marvel musicals all along. Hugh Jackman sings and dances his ass off. You know Hugh Jackman would have loved for Wolverine to sing a little tune.
He just got to Marvel. Calm down.
Well, it's about time. Because as she's flying all over the place, I'm like, I'm enthralled. Like, it's a little Marvel, it's a little Harry Potter, and it's wicked, and it's a musical. And sometimes things, when musicals get turned into movies, like, they just lose the heart because it's an adaptation and it falls flat. But this did not. Like, it captured the heart throughout it all, and it culminates in that Defying Gravity performance. And all of the choices that were made, like the opt-ups, the riffs, they're so good. Like, there's just enough newness that makes it feel fresh while also honoring the original material. And Cynthia Erivo was everything. I expected her to be. Like, she's such a good actress. And for people who were lucky enough, I never saw her live in The Color Purple when she was on Broadway a few years back, but people said it was just like a revelation. And so knowing that she can sing, that she can act, but both of these actresses in Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, I thought it showed how they have experience performing live and on screen, both of them, because they were able to perfectly weave like when to go big and when to go smaller and more demure, because things get captured on camera easier than trying to project on a stage to a live audience. And like the eyes I was just lost in Cynthia Erivo's eyes, the emotions that she was able to portray. I thought both characters were flushed out in a really cool and intentional way that elevated how you view them in the show, like on Broadway. And Ariana Grande, I was a skeptic. She killed it. She was fantastic.
You called it a love letter to the original. Can you elaborate more on that for me? What do you mean by that?
Well, first of all, there's all kinds of Easter eggs throughout it. And I don't mean Easter eggs like someone said, Elphaba's green because she's supposed to be the Wicked Witch from The Wizard. That's not an Easter egg. That's
a great Easter egg.
Part of the story. But there is a cameo appearance, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. But I thought linking the past to the present was really special. And again, I think it comes down to just taking the original material and honoring that while also elevating it in a way that doesn't change it. It just makes it even better. And I think it came out at the perfect time, too. Like, spoiler alert, if you need a class on media literacy, Wicked is a political show. Like, it is political in nature, and the crucifixion.
That is the part that's going to throw a lot of people off who see this. Have they gotten
some people
angry
are
yet?
confused.
Have they gotten angry yet?
Some have misinterpreted.
Oh, how?
Don't ask.
Misinterpreted what?
Like, who Elphaba would represent in this movie.
There's a side banning books and silencing an underserved community.
Right.
As the most right person on this show, as the most correct person on this show, as the furthest right person on this show, that sounds like one side of this political spectrum that exists in America right now. And you guys figure that out. It's not that hard to figure that the F out. So how can you possibly confuse the two? That's where I'm confused.
Again, media literacy. The kids must go back to school. The adults must go back to school.
But if you're in a school that is silencing
you
history
could see it
and people,
otherwise. I mean, even when this book came out, the original author of the book said that it was about the rise of fascism and historical figures like Hitler and how that gets there, and the glamour of someone like the Wizard not being all that appears, and the demonization and the criminalization of others and the scapegoating of other communities. And that's where I think of a goat. I thought this movie, in terms of a love letter and elevating, like piecing in the stories of why Elphaba cares so much about the animals, was done in a way that far exceeds the stage show.
Okay, because that was something that didn't come across when we watched it, when I watched it at the
You will have no
Orpheum.
questions.
Okay.
And I think it sets up the second movie and Act 2 in a more effective way overall. Peter Dinklage is the voice of the goat whose name escapes me at this exact moment. But the way that they do his song, Something Bad, is really cool. The way they do the Wizard song, A Sentimental Man, is really cool. Just the way that you can add levels to the storytelling, I thought was really effective. Also with Glenda and Ariana Grande's performance, the way that it really highlights like somebody who thinks that they are good, but it's just good based on surface level here's and there's. Like Glenda's such a complex and interesting character because she's blonde, she's spunky, she comes from a wealthy family. Like everything has always worked out for her. Why would it not work out for everybody else?
What's her name again?
Glenda.
Thank you.
But it becomes Glenda. She changes it.
I got you.
It's not a spoiler. It's how we know her. But seeing just the wrestling of her complicity in her friend's character arc and how she struggles with that. And that comes out from, Glenda is one of the hardest characters to ever play in musical theater history because the show starts at her end. Like if you think about how Wicked starts, it's Glenda singing about the end of the show that comes later, and then she has to immediately zap into Dear Old Shiz and setting up the relationship between Glenda and Elfrid forming at university. And Ariana Grande, it's easier in a movie because I'm sure you shot it over multiple days, but it feels seamless. I can't get over how good and I wanted to make sure that I didn't say him first because I didn't want to take away from a women-led movie. Jonathan Bailey steals the movie for me. He is Riz. Like, I don't even know what Riz is still, but it's Jonathan Bailey. Every girl who grew up doing any kind of theater knows there is nothing sexier than a gay man playing I'm not going to call it a straight lead because he is definitely a queer lead because he's flirting with the boys, he's flirting with the girls, he's flirting with the students, he's flirting with the teachers. He's so good. And I can't wait to see where his career, this feels like a career cementing start for Jonathan Bailey. For Cynthia Erivo, I think we were talking a few weeks ago about who will be those next capital A actors who take over the ranks of a Meryl Streep or a Viola Davis or an Angela Bassett or Cate Blanchett. And she's a little younger than that group, but Cynthia Erivo will do it. She's not American. Just like in the NBA, we're losing our American stars, but we'll borrow from the Brits.
We rock with international movie
Blanchett's
stars.
British.
Idris Elba
Yeah.
is from over that way. So yeah, I don't think being British precludes you, or I know it's a couple Australians
Bailey's
running
British.
around as well. So
he's so spicy.
Are you lusting after a man who
loves men? It wouldn't be the first time in my life.
All right, best movie musical adaptation.
Yeah.
All right.
I really think it is.
Not close.
No.
Okay.
And I think that's so cool for the future of musical adaptations. I think this opens up a whole new love of musicals. Plus, there's a lot of kids seeing this right now, particularly young girls and boys. Take your sons to see Wicked. But these are formative years. The number of new fans of musicals, we're going to be stronger than ever. You can't kill us.
Oh, gosh. Theater teachers everywhere rejoice. Will my 9-year-old son, how old is the nephew? 5 or 6?
I think so.
Will they enjoy it?
I think so. I know somebody messaged me that they took their 6-year-old daughter and she was enthralled throughout the entirety. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's a long one. It's a long one. No wonder they had to make it 2 parts. But again, I thought it was worthy because it flushed out some of those things that get lost. Everything that was added to me made it better.
Okay.
It didn't subtract.
It is more.
And it didn't drag, but I loved it.
One of the things that you've said is that while it is an on-screen adaptation of the play, of the Broadway musical, it's closer to the book. The book exists, and then you get the play based off the book, and because you've got enough time, you're going to do it in 2 parts. You can do roughly 3 hours in the theater. You can add more of that stuff from the book in to really flesh out these characters.
I think they'll really add to the second. Because the second act of the show is only an hour long. You can't have just an hour-long movie. Now, I don't need the second movie to be 2 hours and 40 minutes either. But I do think there's there's some effective tying. I would imagine that they'll rest on the Wizard of Oz source material a little bit more too and bring that into it. But I swear, Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, I have something to live for the next year. That sounds really dark. It didn't mean for that to sound as dark as it came out. Them singing For Good at the end of that movie, cry me a river. I will be a puddle. I will be a mess. Cynthia Erivo doing No Good Deed Goes Unpunished. Cynthia Erivo and Jonathan Bailey doing As Long As You're Mine. Ariana Grande doing Thank Goodness. There's so much for me to look forward to still. And I'm very excited about it. But it was truly a splendid time at the movies. And the movies packed. The movie theater on Friday night, I was we're so back, baby. Lines for the popcorn. Everyone's getting those overly priced.
Which movie did you go
to? Studio on the Square.
Okay.
And Gladiator was out too. There was a showing around the same time. but everyone's buying those stupid overpriced popcorn buckets and drinks, myself included. I got the Elfrid popcorn bucket. And just the energy. Like, people were so excited to be there. And that's a fun time to be had. So if you're looking for something to do as a family, get your tickets ahead of time because a lot of the showings are still pretty sold out. That'll do it for today's show. We'll be back tomorrow. It will be our last show of the week on this Thanksgiving week. It'll be a Grizzlies game day. We'll get into all of it, and we will see you then. Bye.
What was your favorite song in the movie? Cough. There you go.
Popular. And I thought it would be.